It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and today we've got a beer from 8 Sail Brewery. When you go on the Beers of Europe website, you always see 8 Sail Brewery's beers first. Whenever you go on their website, it's always first and foremost. And I think that's because the brewery starts with a number, and they put numbers first on the list of breweries that kind of go on and on and on at Beers of Europe, because they're the largest online beer store in the UK with a fabulous range of beer from all over the world. So to have that kind of to always see 8 Sail Brewery at the beginning, it must be wonderful for the brewery. They must sell a lot of beer. So I've heard about this brewery a lot because I go on the website at least once a month to order my beer. And I seen this one and I thought, ooh, this could be very, very good. A Baltic porter in a 500 milliliter bottle, described as dark, malty, imperial style porter, coming in at 6.9% ABV. The story of Baltic porter, is a really interesting one. There's a picture of a Queen's crown there, and that's there for good reason. We'll talk about that in a moment. Silver bottle cap, dark brown bottle. Let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Look at that. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening, beer in the glass. Yes, look at this. Oh, look at this. This looks smashing. This looks absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. There is a widget in the bottom of the glass, and the beer is now starting to very slowly, very slowly. I almost got the perfect pour on that one. But just to show you the beer, look at that carbonation. It does have etching on the side of the glass. There is a reason why I use this tall, long glass. Now, if you were to have a Baltic porter from Poland, they serve them, even at 10% ABV. I've had the Tyskie Baltic porter. They serve it in a long, tall glass. And that's because some, not all, but some Baltic porters are based on lager recipe. They use a lager malt and a lager yeast strain for the beer. Whoa. So I'll let that settle for a moment. beersofeurope.co.uk, the largest online beer store in the UK with a fabulous range of beer from all around the world. Beers of Europe, fantastic company. I've dealt with them since 2013, I believe. That's like 11 years. They started sending me beer. I started giving them a bit of a shout out on YouTube, and that's how it's been ever since. No complications, no contracts, no kind of I built up a lovely relationship with a few people down at Beers of Europe. I go as far as to call them friends now. And it's just a great place. They've got a restaurant now at their place. It's a big warehouse full of beer. Have a look on their website, beersofeurope.co.uk. There's a link in the description box of the video. Wonderful, wonderful people. 4-finger tan coloured head. Look at the carbon. It's settled down. The beer is settled down now, but it's got a little bit of light bleeding through the side of the glass. It looks terrific. Well done, 8 Sail, for producing a beer of this, what looks fantastic aroma. Oh, yeah. Roasted malt coming through. Biscuity, bready, nutty. Roasted malt. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Stone the crows. Stone the crows. This is unbelievable. Oh, that taste is so good. It's rich, it's decadent. It's fantastically malty with that roasted malt that they use in the beer. The chocolate, the coffee, the caramel flavours comes through in abundance. The mouthfeel is rich and creamy and layered with flavour. There's a little hint of vanilla, a little hint of coconut. Chocolate, coffee, caramel flavours coming through. Just fantastic. Little sprig of carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth, releases more of the flavour. I think actually I benefited putting the beer in one of those kind of widget style etched glasses. It's knocked out not all of the carbonation. You can see the carbonation there rising up the side of the glass, but it's knocked out some of the carbonation, and it's just made the beer super smooth. The bitterness on the beer from the combination of the roasted malt and the hops is just wonderful. 6.9% ABV. Baltic Porter is traditionally strong. So I'm going to do my best to explain why. So, Russian Queen, the British back hundreds of years ago wanted to give a gift to the wonderful Russian Queen of the day. That's why we have this Queen's crown on the bottle. But the only way to get it to Russia was to travel back then on a boat up through the Baltics. That was the fastest way and the easiest way to transport beer back in the day. So they produced a porter, they put it on the boat, and it was about 4.5% ABV, and it didn't last the journey. It's a bit like the India Pale Ale story, where they made a beer for the British troops and the British people in India, and it just didn't make it. It never made it to India. So they had to brew it stronger. Going over the Baltics, the Baltic Sea, it freezes in the winter, very cold back in the day, probably still very cold now in the winter. But when they sent this beer stronger ABV, it lasted the journey. It lasted the journey, and the Queen of Russia at the time, when she received it and drank it, she loved it. And she probably would have thought regular British porter was okay, but it never made the journey. So she had a stronger one. She had a stronger porter from the UK. And the name stuck. The name literally stuck. Baltic Porter. Getting over the Baltics, the Baltic Sea, with a strong porter. Very much like the IPA story of the day. If you want to tune into that story a little bit more, if you want to kind of like, if I've made any mistakes with that story, please let me know. It was Queen Catherine, I believe it was. So I'm going to rate this. Fantastic porter. It looks great, it smells great, it tastes wonderful. Roasted, nutty, biscuity, bready, creamy mouthfeel. Stone the Crows, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.